Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And today we're looking at what is a completely random fact. Let's get started. Penguins have an organ above their eye that converts salt water into fresh water. Ladies and gentlemen, we have solved the freshwater crisis. Squid brains are donut shaped and their esophagus runs through it. If a squid eats something too big, it can get brain damage. I would be a real dumb squid. Ants have a terminal velocity of 1.778 meters per second. This means they can fall from any height and not harm themselves. No fall damage? That's so unfair. Air must be noticeably thick when you're that small. If they fell from a passenger jet, they'd take about an hour and a half to reach the ground. Gary Newman is 13 days older than Gary Oldman. Muppets singing Bohemian Rhapsody is the first ever video on YouTube with 1080p quality. This is important, and I hope my kids will read about it in textbooks. The original Mr. Potato Head toy did not come with what we now consider the body. It was a set of parts with pins that children can stab into real potatoes. The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. I'm Scottish, I can confirm. 50% of the world's pigs live in China. Eyeballs don't bounce. How have you acquired this information? Each pineapple takes 1.5 to 3 years to grow. They really grow out of each other too. I thought that was just a wallpaper pattern until I went to Hawaii and visited a plantation. You can grow a new one out of the top of the one you're eating if you keep enough of it intact. Also, it's one of only 2 members of the Bromeliad family that are edible. The other is not commercially viable for crops. If you're 25 years old, approximately a third of the world's population who were alive when you were born have since died. When a Viking received a gut wound, they would be fed strong onion soup. After some time, someone would smell the wounds elsewhere on their body. If they smelled like onions, there was damage to the intestines and no chance of saving them. When roosters make their sound, their ears close up so they won't become deaf. It's illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland because they get lonely. The tallest building in the state of Wyoming is a college dorm. Twinkies are 68% air, therefore making it totally possible to fit 2 Twinkies into the space taken up by only 1. I don't know if my Twinkie math is right, but that would mean that only 32% Twinkie and you could fit 3 Twinkies inside a space meant for 1, right? Twinkies used to be filled with banana cream until World War II, when bananas were rationed due to a shortage. The company then switched to using vanilla cream filling, which turned out to be more popular, so they didn't reintroduce the banana cream. If you open your eyes in a pitch black room, the colour you'll see is called Eigengrau. Eigengrau is a German term, which literally means own grey or intrinsic grey. A British man changed his name to Tim Price, so it would be difficult for telemarketers to pronounce it. The nut that holds the blades of a helicopter together is called the Jesus nut. It snows metal on Venus. The most effective hunter is the dragonfly, 95% success rate. This is because its optic nerve connects directly to its wings. Sounds from far away seem louder when it's going to rain. This is because the water in the air conducts sound. WD-40 stands for Water Displacement Formula Number 40. A landlocked country is one that is entirely surrounded by land or only has borders with closed seas, and therefore no access to international waters. A doubly landlocked country is one that is surrounded on all sides by landlocked countries, meaning it's essentially 2 steps away from international waters. There are 2 such countries currently in the world, Liechtenstein and Uzbekistan. Carrots being good for your eyes was a disinformation campaign used to obscure the invention of radar. To this very day, mums are still feeding their kids British war propaganda. One horse has 14.9 horsepower. Do you know that you eat like 8 spiders during your sleep myth? It was actually published by a research group studying how misinformation spreads. The largest tyre manufacturer in the world is not Firestone or Goodyear or Michelin. The largest tyre manufacturer in the world is actually Lego. A golf ball has 352 dimples. I did research. The 2014 Titleist Pro V1 is a 3-piece solid core golf ball currently sporting a 352 dimple pattern. Other ones range from 300 to 500 depending on the type of ball. Man, someone's had too much free time this quarantine. There are 108 stitches on a baseball and 118 ridges on a dime. If you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, the closest human being might be on the ISS. Spooky. Typewriter is the longest word that can be made using the letters on only one row of the keyboard. Pirates didn't wear eye patches because they'd lost an eye. They wore them so that one eye could be adjusted to the dark, therefore when they go below deck they can remove the eye patch and see better. In a deck of cards, the King of Hearts is the only king without a moustache. Male giraffes will headbutt a female in the bladder until she urinates, then it tastes the pee to help it determine whether or not the female is ovulating. There are more possible iterations of a game of chess than there are atoms in the observable universe, the Shannon number. Castle spiral staircases always go in the same direction. The reason for this being that most people are right-handed, so it gives you an advantage fighting down the stairs over the guy trying to fight his way up. The stairs are spiraled to prevent mounted cavalry taking a horse up them and trampling everyone. The phrase "hands down" comes from horse racing and refers to a jockey who is so far ahead that he can afford to drop his hands and loosen the reins, usually kept tight to encourage a horse to run, and still easily win. Only female wasps are able to sting. Yoda and Miss Piggy were both voiced by the same person.